Well, hello. Today we're going to do a rodeo, and I know I said I'm tired of rodeos, but this rodeo just kind of came up naturally based on the pens I was using. I was just like, let's try that. So what we're going to compare are two pens I really like, the Parker Sonnet and the Lamy 2000. Similar price point, both with gold nibs, and both are very good everyday carry pens. So giddy up. Let's see how they write. All right, so this is the Parker Sonnet and the Lamy 2000. This is a newer version of the Parker Sonnet, so we'll take a couple of We'll take a cup. That made it worse. Okay, I sprayed when I talked. Sorry. We'll take a couple of looks at this newer version, but first I want to just take a look at the Lamy 2000. And I brought along a friend. So this is another Lamy 2000, but I don't know, probably not at the same time. Oops. Okay, now we want to slip. Okay, so this is my quality control in video, as you can see. But what I want you to notice, these pens are close-ish to the same age. I think the one's a year older than the other. But this one on top is used daily, year after year. The one on the bottom is pulled out from time to time, a couple of times every year. Do you notice a difference? God. So if we put them closer to the camera, one's a lot shinier than the other. The Lamy 2000 has this fun ability to age, which I think is kind of cool. Now, I'm going to set the newer one aside. The main difference with the newer one is it has a broad nib in it. And if you really want to know what the broad nib makes different about it, check out my links in the video description. We're going to focus on the fine because my Parker Sonnet is a fine. So let's just talk about this pen. This pen exhibits what's called Bauhaus design. Bauhaus is basically form over function. Well, the form follows function. So what it looks like should be based on what it does. And I'll be honest, you look at this pen laying on my desk, you'd think, oh, what a marker. Yeah, it looks nothing special. We look closely. Nothing. Oh, we got the word Lamy written real small here that you really can't make out. Nothing. Nothing. Now I'm going to just turn this slightly because I don't want to make a mess. As far as I'm going to go. Piston turning knob, which is a difference between these two pens. Yes, this is a piston filling pen, so the filling mechanism is built in. Remove the slip cap. Yeah, it's a slip cap. So let me just take it over near the microphone so you can hear me cap it. It clicks. It's subtle, but it clicks. And one of the faults when you listen to people talk about this pen is often these two metal ears that are lined up here on either side of the nib. That's what the pen clips on. There's a small nib. If I were to take this apart, you'd see there really isn't much in there. But a small nib and a small feed. Inside there are fins and everything, but you don't see them. And then a hole, which I'm guessing is used to help pull in ink. A little more subtle to see here, but let's put my fingernail on it. Right here, there is an ink window. Very subtle one, and of course this pen is almost full. If you get the stainless steel or other versions, you won't see it, but with this one you will. And then, of course, it's a macrolon finish, which, as I pointed out earlier, does show signs of wear. This pen is going to age along with you. The longer you own it, the more you'll see that, oh, it is aged. Macrolon, by the way, is often used in bulletproof vests and such. The Parker Sonnet So I have my very newest Parker Sonnet. So let's just put the Lamy 2000 out of the way. This is my newest Parker Sonnet. Here is an older one, and I do own one that comes with a steel nib, but I didn't get it out because it's an old enough style. It's definitely has some differences. Plus, I think this style is still made. But anyway, if we looked at their details are basically the same. The newest one has some, I don't know, I'm going to say laser engraving in the cap. I actually like the simplicity of this design better. But it's not inked up, so we're going to go with the one that is inked up. So, nothing real fancy, no finials or whatever. The branding, we have the Parker arrow clip, and then it has Parker here, and forgot to bring my glasses over here, but France, and then there's a date code, which without my glasses, I can't read it. Uncap it. Metal section. Now, I didn't mention the metal section on the Lamy 2000 because it's kind of an organic part of the pen. But I don't like metal sections, and yet this one doesn't bother me. It's textured enough that it's not slippery and slimy. This is actually a gold nib. You just can't tell. But it is. No piston turning knob. This pen comes with a cartridge converter filling mechanism. For some people, that might be a drawback. For me, it's whatever. The nice thing with the cartridge converters, they're easier to clean out. And, you can replace the moving parts if they wear out. Both this and the Lamy 2000 fit very comfortably in my hand. I could post either pen, but I don't post pens, so whatever. People will say, this is a slim pen, and maybe it is. Let's just do a quick comparison with the Lamy 2000 as far as slimness. Yeah, I'd say the Lamy 2000 is a little bit thicker. Where I hold it, it's kind of tapering in between, so I hold it kind of where the macrolon meets the metal. And I talked about the click on the Lamy 2000, so let's cap the Parker Sonnet. Uncap. Cap. So it's a more satisfying click. But this click does perfectly well. I feel like the Sonnet's is slightly exaggerated. I don't know. So let's compare how they write. And again, these are both fine point pens. So I'm going to do the Parker Sonnet first. And then I'm actually going to narrate the Parker Sonnet, and then we'll do the Lamy 2000, and we'll compare. So Parker Sonnet and Lamy 2000. Neither one of these, if you're looking for a flex nib, is a flex nib. Well, let's do a little writing. So in the Sonnet, I'm using Noodler's Black Swan and English Rose. In the Lamy 2000, I'm using Pelikan Edelstein Onyx. So like I said, no flex, but dang, that sure looks like line variation there. And I think the Sonnet is doing a decent job showing off the character of this ink. The Lamy 2000 has an unfair disadvantage because its ink isn't as much fun. Wetness and flow. Both wet pens. Smear test. Again, both are wet pens. I was actually surprised the Sonnet did so poorly on that one. Reverse writing. So not enough room to write reverse. Both are pretty smooth with the reverse writing, and both are much finer with the reverse writing. And finally, the world-famous Peer-Gustafson test. There was one small skip in the Parker Sonnet, but I think that was my fault. So on the whole, looking at the writing samples, I would say that the Parker Sonnet writes a little finer. Now, to be fair, I'm not using the same ink in each one, and if I was a good pen reviewer, I would, but it's me. But yeah, in general, I find the Sonnet just a little bit finer than the Lamy 2000. But an interesting feature of the Lamy 2000, which you can kind of see here, is the Lamy 2000 has a bit of a stub character. So let's just roll this up here. Let's zoom in a bit. Oh, come on, autofocus. It's not that hard. There we go. So Lamy 2000. I mean, maybe it's my imagination, but I feel like it's a little more broad on the downstrokes than the cross strokes. And one thing with the Lamy 2000, you get off, it has more of a sweet spot. And the sweet spot becomes more of a thing when you start writing with its broader nibs. So let's just cheat and write with the broader nib here. The stub character is much more obvious with the broad nib. And yeah, when I rotate it a little, it doesn't write anymore. Getting back to the Sonnet versus Lamy 2000 thing. So the Sonnet with the same test. I'd say those are more similar. But I can... Now we're not going to do too much pressure, but you know, with a little bit of pressure, I get some line variation. Lamy 2000, no pressure, pressure. I get some line variation there too. But again, when I say pressure, we're not pushing our pens down really hard just to see if we can go rip with the tines and oh shoot, they won't go back. You know, we're being gentle, gentle, gentle. I want to emphasize that word. So, as far as the writing, one of my big qualities is, does the pen disappear in my hand? I think I misspelled that. I did misspell that. That's E-A-R. Why, yes, it does. Lamy 2000 always disappears in my hand. I can write pages with that pen and then just be like, oh, yeah, I was writing with a Lamy 2000, wasn't I? What about the Parker Sonnet? And by the way, you're seeing a little bit more if I'm writing for myself. Which is why this is messy. Why, yes, it does. Both pens disappear in my hand. So that's not going to be the deciding factor. I do like, especially for cheap paper, that the Sonnet is better. I'll tell you what the deciding factor was. One of these pens is inked up most of the year. The other one wasn't. Now, is there a solidly measured, scientifically measured, accurate, reason for that? I couldn't come up with a good one, but we'll give it a try here as I wrap up the video. But I'm tentatively saying the Lamy 2000, and when I record the talking part of the video, I will endeavor to give a more coherent explanation. But yeah, Lamy 2000 is the one that's always inked up. Parker Sonnet is a good pen, a very good pen, but it's not always inked up. So that was the Parker Sonnet and the Lamy 2000. I think you can probably tell which one was the winner. You know, I tried to just do the writing sample with the fine, of course, because I don't have the others inked up. But, yeah, there was a clear winner for me. Lamy 2000. I love the unobtrusive Bauhaus design. I think it writes very well. Both pens actually do disappear in my hand. Both are very good because you can just snork off the cap and go to it. Yeah, at the same time, that Lamy 2000 just kind of quietly gets the business done. Well, the Parker Sonnet's got to put on a little bit of a show, especially the newer one. I like both pens. Historically, this year's going to be a little different, but historically what I've always done is I put the Lamy 2000 on vacation for the summer, and then I write with other pens that just don't get their moment in the sun. The Parker Sonnet is always one of those pens. And yet this year, because I spent most of my winter not writing with my Lamy 2000, we're going to spend some quality Lamy 2000 time this summer, at least the month of June. I really like the pen. It's, for the reasons you saw in the video, just a little bit better designed, a little less showy, and yet the quality is there if you know what to look for. So, yeah, I like it. So, of course, an important question is the pocket test. So, Lamy 2000, my newest one. Woo! My slightly older one. Even better because there's no friction on the cap with the weird design stuff. And the Lamy 2000. Yeah, all passed the pocket test with flying colors. These are all good pens. You won't go wrong with either one. And some of it may be a stylistic thing. I think part of it was style for me. But overall, I'm more comfortable holding the Lamy 2000 and writing with the Lamy 2000. Yes, both disappear in my hands. But I like the Lamy 2000 better. What can I say? So, nib choice. They both have different nib choices. They both have more expensive finishes available. One small point in the Parker Sonnet's favor is that there is a less expensive steel nib version. I do have one. I didn't show it in this video because it's a much older style and it's not quite the same as the newer style. But that's something that Parker has that Lamy doesn't. I don't know why Lamy doesn't have a steel nib, but I don't know what advantage gold gives its nib, to be honest, but they don't have it. So, yeah, a little small advantage for Sonnet. But, if you like a classy-looking design, go for the Parker Sonnet. If you like a more utilitarian look, go for the Lamy 2000. Would I like the Lamy 2000 ages as you own it? As you saw in the video, the Lamy 2000 is just a little bit more comfortable to hold. And I think the Lamy 2000 is just kind of a more unique design and perhaps a bit more cohesive and thought through. Rather than taking classic elements and putting them together, Lamy really rethought, well, what should a fountain pen look like in the modern era? We got the Lamy 2000, which both of these designs have been around for a long time. Lamy 2000 has been around since the 1960s. The Parker Sonnet's been around about, 20 years or so. Well, more than that. Let's go with 30 years. I didn't look it up. I'll put a little comment here on the screen somewhere because that's not on my outline and I just thought of it as I was talking. So, yeah. But anyway, Lamy 2000's the winner. So anyway, I hope that was useful. Last couple of rodeos, I have not taken a stand. So I felt like it was worth taking a stand this time. So thank you for watching. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.